show you move. Good news, everyone. Don't you know Diggy when you see onions have legs?
Welcome to 20th Century Boy. My name is, this is the third time I've tried to record this because one of the things, the cords on my microphone was broken and it wasn't recording, and it took me a while to figure out what was wrong with it. And this is the inside of my mind. Yes, this is the third time I've started this podcast because the microphone wasn't working. I believe I have fixed it now. Luckily, I only got like 10 seconds in each time, so you haven't missed much, guys. You really haven't missed much. This is the real episode, season 3, episode 34, I think. Coming towards the end of the season, I guess. Like, season 1 had 48 episodes, season 2 had 40. Maybe we'll have another 40 this year, who knows? Not many weeks left in the year. Anyway, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. My name's Radio Mike, a young writer, producer, comedy kind of person from here in Melbourne, Australia, trying to make his way through the rough and tumble of living life. Sometimes it's easier than other times. Guys, I got to admit, if you're new to the podcast, I'm a bit shaken. Okay? I'm a little bit shaken. Just the messing around with the broken microphone has really thrown me. I realize that's not on you, the listener. You've just joined the podcast expecting everything to be normal. I didn't have to bring up the microphone failure, but I did. This is the third time I've done this, and now I'm just panicking. I'm like, keep looking over at the thing to make sure it's recording, which it does seem to be. But, maybe this whole episode, there's going to be an aura of Mike not being 100% in it. And I don't want that to be my legacy for this episode. I want the legacy for this episode to be Mike in the face of trouble, in the face of the microphone maybe not working. Mike just went all out. He committed to it. He believed in himself and he backed himself. And that's what I'm doing. Okay? I don't want a single listener of this podcast. And again, if you're new, welcome again. I don't want a single listener of this podcast to say, hey, season 3, episode 34, Mike was distracted by the mic thing and he just didn't bring it. He didn't commit. He wasn't 100% in it, because I am. All right? And to prove it to you, I'm going to start by encouraging you all to do your 360 on the spot right now, because we are Australia's only winnable podcast. Do a 360 on the spot right now. You might win the podcast if you happen to see me in the flesh. Come up to me, say, Mike, I've won the podcast. There is a prize for winning. But also the podcast ends forever. Radio Whitey did just that this week. Welcome to the radio family, Radio Whitey. He said, Mike was not in northern Tasmania when I did my 360 this week. No, I wasn't. I won't ever be. Well, no, I might be in Tasmania at some point, but at the moment I'm in lockdown here in Melbourne. More on that later. As well as that, quick plug, again, top of every show, plug, patreon.com/Radio Mike. As little as $1 a month, you get a bonus podcast every week between me and Pat. This week, people will love this. Pat talked all about his history playing Club Penguin. One of our patrons, Radio Lazar, said it was one of our best episodes yet over in the Patreon chat. 31 patrons. Would love to see you get up to 35. Free sticker pack when you join. That's 5 stickers. I will send them to you. Lots of incentive to join. $1 a month's not really that much as well. It's $12 a year. If you think my content, all of it, because it's not just the 20th Century Boy Patreon, it's the Radio Mike Patreon. Everything I do, if you like it, just give me $1 a month, $12 a year. That's 3 coffees. If you would get coffee with this guy right here, and I am pointing to myself if you're listening to the audio, there is a video version of this podcast on YouTube. If you'd get coffee with this guy right here 3 times a year, and I realize not in a date way, like in a friend way, and you'd shout me a coffee, well, I guess in a date way. If you'd go on 3 dates with me, give me $12. That's all I'm asking for. Anyway, do your 360. Let me know if you won. Trivia question of the week, of course. New little incentive we're doing, another competition kind of thing. The question from last week, I believe, was which American rock band, and I've realized that, anyway, it doesn't matter. Which American rock band released the album Is This It? Lots of correct answers. Congratulations if you got it correct. You must submit by calling the podcast hotline, which is...
If you've got a contribution to the podcast, there's only one number you see.
What is it, guys?
You're 1-800-438-353.
So it's 1-800-438-353. Call it, leave your trivia answer, just like Scooter from all the way in the UK, which does prove that it does work in the UK. Scooter was the first correct answer. Welcome to the Radio Family, Radio Scooter. As well as that, a bunch of other people got the correct answer, so you do have to be first to win the point. 1 point to you, Scooter. Take it away.
Radio Mike, it is Radio Scooter here again. I'm just calling you in the middle of a 3-hour bike ride.
Oh, 3 hours.
Got to get that exercise in. But anyway, just wanted to let you know that the answer to your trivia question earlier is The Strokes. That is a brilliant album, and Someday is one of my top 10 songs of all time.
Wow.
Anyway, cheers.
Thanks, Scooter. Oh, whoops, sorry. Thanks, Scooter. Great little tidbit there. It is a great album, Is This It by The Strokes. I highly recommend you listen to it if you're into music. It's really good. Good indie rock album. They also had a recent album called The New Abnormal, which I really enjoyed. But of course, Is This It? Famous for title track. And as well as the title track Is This Is, possibly their most famous song. Love this one. But yeah, trivia question for this week. Kind of similar in some ways, kind of different in others. First person to call in gets a point. There are currently 3 people on 1 point. Radio Scooter, of course, Radio Mel, and I think... I'm sorry, I can't remember who won last week. I'm going to say Radio Andrew. I'm probably wrong. This week's question, call in 1-800-438-353. In the Simpsons movie, released in 2007, we've all seen it, which American rock band, again, this is a little bit similar, it's American rock band theme, which American rock band plays the Simpsons theme at the beginning of the film? I'll say the question again. In the Simpsons movie, which American rock band plays the Simpsons theme at the beginning of the film? Call up, first person to answer gets a point in the running to win something very, very cool. All right, we do have a huge reveal for this week. Some of you might already know what it is, but I'm going to do it up the top here. Because if you're a long-time listener of this podcast, you will know for a fact that I am Grilled, the burger chain, Healthy Burgers. I am their official, unofficial ambassador. It all started months ago where I did a TikTok talking about how I hate Grilled and think that their burgers suck. Like all great ambassadors, I started as an enemy, right? Grilled got involved. There was a lot of toing and froing. I ended up going to Grilled. I really enjoyed the burger. A lot of people thought that I sold out. I did not sell out. A lot of people thought that I accepted the cash from Grilled. I did not accept the cash from Grilled. And to prove that, Grilled does owe me $85 currently because of my work promoting them over the last few months of the show. I don't think I've ever mentioned any brand as much as Grilled on this show. Did have a few new, and of course that $85 is in fact going to a lucky listener, right, for sending in your Grilled Mike fan art. It's an unofficial competition. I've partnered with Grilled unofficially. They have said they'll come to the table with $85. Send in your Mike Grilled fan art or meme. Lots have come through. One came in from Radio Satcher this week. It was just a picture of 2 stick figures. One said Mike and one said Grilled. I did say to him, hey, love it, in the running, not the best though. So unlikely, very unlikely that Radio Satcher will win, but encourage you guys to submit anything either way. Of course, we have had 2 submissions that are definitely in the running. The first one I'm actually wearing right now, if you're watching the video version of the pod. It was sent in by Radio Hazel. Thank you, Hazel. And it is the mic'd t-shirt. It's the Grilled t-shirt, except instead of Grilled, it says mic'd. Great. Grilled influencer right here. And the other one, which is by Radio Thai, welcome to the RF, is a watercolor picture of me coddling a burger like a baby, right? Now, I am happy to announce today, and a lot of people have been asking, how the hell do you become a Grilled ambassador, Mike? How the hell do you become an unofficial Grilled ambassador? Well, as of today, and a lot of people asked for this when I posted the shirt on Instagram, head to radiomike.com.au/merch And you will be you will be able to purchase your own mic'd t-shirt. That's right, a mic'd t-shirt for yourself. Any size, small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL, 3XL, and extra small as well. You'll be able to purchase that right now. Go to it right now. Get yourself a shirt. This is, support the show, support Grilled. And you will also be able to purchase a tote bag with Ty's watercolor picture of me on it. Really good quality tote bag as well. They're currently being printed by a place that is near my house. I would love for you guys to pick them up. The tote bags are $25 plus shipping. The shirts are $32 plus I think they're $32 plus shipping, as well. I'm barely turning a profit on these. I just want to get some merch out there. I'd love for people to pick up a mic'd shirt and a tote bag. You can also get both of the items together in a pack, a Grilled Influencer starter pack, for a little bit cheaper as well. It's all on radiomike.com.au/merch. And whichever item sells more will win the $85 Grilled voucher. So if you want the tote bag, good quality tote bag, put all your shopping in it, put books in it, whatever, bring it to uni. Or if you want your mic'd t-shirt, they are all there now, radiomike.com.au/merch. And let's say whoever wins the trivia will get a free t-shirt as well, right? That's your incentive to call up to the trivia. But yes, I would love for people to head to radiomike.com.au/merch right now. Get yourself a shirt, get yourself a tote bag. I want these to sell out, okay? They will be shipped to your door. You can get them both. The tote bags are great. The shirts are great. Please do it. I would love for you to buy some merch for the show. And I've spoken to both the artists, Hazel and Ty, about whether I'm allowed to do this. They're both fine with it. So yeah, please go and indulge. Buy yourself a shirt, get it shipped out to you. Any questions, let me know. But I will be continuing to push the sales of these products. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. And Grilled, thank you very much for allowing me to print your logo, which I assume is copyrighted. But hey, I'm printing it anyway. A few listener messages. You can get in touch with the podcast, with me, anytime, radiomikepod@gmail.com, radio.mike on Instagram, radiomike.com.au/contact, comment on the YouTube video, however you want to get a message to me. I will probably read it at some point. Lots of messages come through. The Discord as well, if you're in that. Feel free to ask for a link if you're not in the Discord, and remind me if I haven't replied to you. I will get you into the Discord. Radio Uncle Drew. Welcome to the radio family. Appreciate you being here. Your first contribution to the show. Hi, Radio Mike. So I just started listening to your podcast. I don't know why or how it took me this long to find out about it. Maybe because I'm a dickhead and just don't pay attention to things. That's very self-deprecating, Radio Uncle Drew. I don't think you're a dickhead at all. The podcast is great and I've just finished season 1. One question I have, why the hell can't I find episode 1? Everywhere I search, it starts at episode 41. Does this mean I'm a bigger dickhead than I thought I was because I'm not looking properly? Anyway, well done on the podcast. I'm loving what you're doing. Keep up the great work. I love you. I really would love for all listeners to sign off on their correspondence to me, wherever you're sending it to. I would love everyone to follow Uncle Drew's lead and end with I love you. That would really help me out. So please end all correspondence with I love you. Especially because previously most people end correspondence with get fucked. So I love you would be a great change. Guys, please end correspondence with I love you. I need all the love that I can get. On the episode starting at 41, a lot of people have mentioned this. I'm in two minds about it. For whatever reason, the podcast only shows the most recent 100 episodes. I don't really know why that is. I should do some digging into figuring it out. But I'm sure there is some way you can get every episode of the podcast. Like, can someone who cares about me and this show, I'm sure someone listening does, can someone do some research into where you can find all the episodes? I don't understand why they're not available. 2, though, on the other hand, I cringe a lot at a lot of the first season of this pod. I really do. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm kind of glad it's not available because it was shit. But I guess it wasn't shit. Like, people did enjoy it. But I just think I've come so far as a podcaster since that moment. So I'm like, oh, I guess I don't really care if they're up or not. But yeah, someone please, if you can do some searching and let me know, I would appreciate that. Radio Ado via radiomikepod@gmail.com. Hey, hi, Radio Ado here. just wanted to write because I have been scared to for a bit. I love your pod and all the work you do for Release the Sounds as well. That's my band. I hope you see that. I hope you see this. I did see it. Thank you so much, Ado. And on that note, I wanted to say, I've said this before like ages ago, but like I remember when I was like a kid, I used to listen to the Hamish and Andy podcast all the time. I loved it. And I would say I was one of the biggest fans of the Hamish and Andy podcast, in the world. I reckon I could tell you anything about it. I was obsessed with it, but I was a very anxious kid. And as much as I wanted to contribute, I was just always really anxious and scared, right? But I can tell you now that working on that show, they love to hear from everyone. They might not use your thing on air, but they would love to hear from you. Likewise for me, like now being on the other side of it, if you're hesitant or scared or anxious about sending everything, it makes my day when people send emails like this. So I'm like never going to complain about people sending a nice email. Seriously, I would love to hear from you. Radio Connoisseur, which is kind of clever because it's like connoisseur, but it's Connor Sir. I believe that's what he's going for anyway. Loving the pod, mate. And last week I talked about how who would exercise for 3 hours. This resonated for a lot of people, I think. In regards to the 3 hours of exercise, when I was training for my marathon a couple years ago, I would do some runs for over 2 hours. Agree that the 3 hour time extension doesn't really make that much of a difference. Hopefully out of this crap soon. Running for over 2 hours. I'm going to do a poll on Instagram this week. I'm going to do a question, and I'd love for people to write in directly as well. Have you ever gone for a run that's longer than an hour? I'm sure people have. I just want to get a scope of who's running for like half an hour and then who's running for like 2 hours. Curious. Let me know. On another note, we are still in lockdown here in Melbourne. And annoyingly, because of just like so many crap political decisions here in this country, I was supposed to get my second dose of Pfizer on Friday. I was supposed to be fully vaccinated on Friday. But because Sydney is doing so badly and Gladys Berejiklian, the Premier of Sydney, did a dodgy on Melbourne, my Pfizer vaccine has been delayed for another 3 weeks. Won't be fully vaxxed for another 3 weeks. Terrible. And it's amazing how, like, you know, Gladys Berejiklian is able to do the dirty on Melbourne and steal all our Pfizer vaccines for Sydney. And it's been really annoying. Like, the political fucking around that is preventing Australia from moving on with COVID is so annoying because basically you've got Gladys Berejiklian and Scott Morrison who both sit on like one side of politics. And then you've got our Premier Daniel Andrews who's on the other side of politics. And I obviously think that has something to do with why Scott Morrison and Gladys were able to get all the vaccines for Sydney and Melbourne missed out. Pretty shit. You know, I was looking forward to be fully vaxxed. I was looking forward to doing that. Now I have to wait another 3 weeks, but that's okay. Get the jab if you can. Well, you probably can at the moment. The other thing, Scott Morrison, Prime Minister of Australia, I realise I'm doing more like social commentary on the pod these days. I got a message from Radio Tim. Radio Tim is also the newest Patreon. Thank you for jumping on the Patreon, Radio Tim. I got a text from him recently, and it said, random thought, but I think the podcast has always been good, but it's improved a ton over the past few months because it's got more variety. And I love that you've involved more social commentary. It doesn't stagnate and the show is consistently engaging. So well done. Great work. It's been great listening. Not that it stagnated previously, but I find most podcasts I listen to have stretches where the vibe lulls, if you know what I mean. Not an expert, just a fan. Thanks. That has been a conscious decision, by the way. I've been noticing more and more people jumping on board the pod. The podcast is certainly growing, and I've really loved that. I love all the new people, so welcome if you are new again. It's been awesome to see so many people getting on board, and I think covering topics with a bit wider scope definitely helps that. So yeah, I hope people are cool with that. Scott Morrison, Prime Minister of the country, and like, is it just me, or do we like... Do countries just accept that the leaders of... Do like citizens of countries just accept that the leaders of their countries are just going to be shit people. Like, you know, like basically the scandal is that there's a lockdown. You're not allowed to go interstate. The state borders are closed here in Australia. Last Sunday in Australia was Father's Day. What day's Sunday? Father's Day. If you haven't seen that sketch, you won't get that, but that's my favorite thing in the world. Maybe I will link it in the description to this podcast, the Father's Day sketch. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Last Sunday was Father's Day, and no one was really allowed to go and spend time with their dad or have a proper Father's Day, which is sad for a lot of people. You know, we all want to see our dads right now. We all want to hang out with our parents. Scott Morrison, Prime Minister of the country, what do you expect the Prime Minister to do? Like the leader of your whole nation. Wouldn't you like expect him to, I don't know, like set an example for the people and like lead by example? You know, that's what being a leader is. It's not like I'm superior to you, therefore I get to do things that you don't. It's, hey, I'm the leader and therefore I'm going to lead by example. Scott Morrison does not lead by example. In fact, what Scott Morrison actually does is go see his family, fly out of Canberra, go to Sydney, through state borders, which are closed. He gets an exemption for himself for Father's Day so he can have a Father's Day with his family and kids. I just thought that was remarkable. And then amongst all of this controversy, all of these people and media outlets are criticizing Scott Morrison for doing this. He doesn't really have any excuse. And then he does it again. He breaches the travel bubble again. And I just think it's like, it is really remarkable that in modern society, it's kind of just like, surely behavior like this from the leader of surely the leader of the country is supposed to be like, hey, I'm really sad. I'm not going to be able to see my kids on Father's Day. And I know you are too, but let's get through this together. No, his message is, hey, it sucks for you guys, but of course I am the Prime Minister. I kind of get to do what I want. Anyway, thought that was really annoying. Thought the whole vaccine thing being delayed was really annoying. Generally speaking, I'm really annoyed about that. One more follow-up from last week's episode that kind of grinded my gears a bit. Obviously, the Nadia Bartel scandal. She had an illegal cocaine lockdown party at her house to celebrate her divorce. We've all been there. No, we haven't. Anyway, Nadia, the interview, I had an exclusive interview with Nadia Bartel on my podcast last week. I would love for you to go back and listen to it if you haven't heard it, if you didn't hear it yesterday. We also repurposed that interview. Obviously, it's huge news. We popped that interview up as a reel on Instagram, just so as many people could see it as possible. And lots of people did see it. But the Nadia Bartel interview was taken down from Instagram for promoting drug use. That's right. Instagram removed the interview I had with Nadia Bartel for promoting drug use, even though, like, it was a breach of community guidelines. That's what Instagram said. A breach of community guidelines, which ironically, Nadia Bartel is an expert in doing, breaching community guidelines. That's what she does best. What I would love to just quickly follow up on, though, was this hilarious news story that's going around at the moment, which is about Nadia Bartel. She was, rightfully fined for the cocaine lockdown party, for breaching lockdown. She was fined nearly $5,000, and it's going to die down, Nadia. Don't worry, you'll get all your sponsors back. You'll get all your influencer brands back. Don't worry. I'm not going to talk about this after this week, but I did find this hilarious. So, while she was charged with the lockdown breach offence, the news is reporting that Nadia Bartel will not be charged for drug possession. Will not be fined for drug possession. Nadia Bartel will not be fined for drug possession. And the reason why, you might be interested to know, is this is straight from an article, despite initial reports Miss Bartel was cooperating with authorities, Victoria Police Commissioner Shane Patton said there would be no criminal charges over the white powder she was filmed snorting. And the next line is the really interesting one for me. Take a listen to this. This is a quote from Victoria Police Commissioner Shane Patton. "We have been unable to determine what the substance on the plate was," he told ABC Radio on Thursday. I'm going to say this again. they were unable to determine what the white powder was. Now, I'm no expert. I'm really not an expert. And I realize that you do need to be able to prove things beyond a reasonable doubt. But I'm just going to be honest with you, all of you. I have no doubt in my mind, and I think we all know, that the white powder that Nadia Bartel was snorting in her 4-second video was cocaine. I don't think there is, I really don't think that anyone is like, oh, well, you know, it could have been any crushed up drug. You know, it could have been paracetamol. It could have been icing sugar. We can't know for sure. That's why we can't judge her. I am fairly confident, and by fairly, I mean 99.99% sure that Nadia Bartel was snorting cocaine. And I think this whole, we can't really, we just don't know. We can't, how could we possibly figure it out? I mean, come on, guys. I thought that was an interesting follow-up to the story. So yeah, I kind of had to bring that up. Next on the agenda, though, and this is going to be a big new one, and this is going to be going up on, this is going to be huge. In the boredom of lockdown, I have decided, I've made the difficult decision, but I just want to see what happens. I've made the difficult decision to sell my soul. This is my soul. In the video, you can see I'm holding it up to the screen. This is my soul. It says Radio Mike's Soul on it. I will be selling my soul. I posted this on Instagram last week. Lots of people are already bidding. I'm going to start an official bidding process. I believe I'm going to list my soul on eBay. I'm going to start it at 99 cents, and I'm going to deliver my soul to anyone who is the highest bidder. I will put a link to the eBay auction in the description. Lots of stuff this week. We've got the new merch. You can buy my soul. So Radio Mike Soul, you will actually own my soul. You will be the owner of my soul. I'm going to pop it on eBay, 99 cents starting bid. Go to the description of this podcast to find the listing and bid on my soul. I'm going to leave it open for a week, so I guess or maybe 2 weeks, and then next week we'll figure out what's happening. But yeah, I am selling my soul. I would really appreciate if you bid on it. I really want to get rid of my soul. Don't want it anymore. I've had enough. Thank you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want it. If you've got any questions about the soul, hit me up. Obviously, this is a reference to the episode of The Simpsons where Bart sells his soul. But I am selling my soul on eBay. I will be selling my soul. Pick it up. 99 cents. You could get it for a steal. 99 cents. I don't know how it's going to go. We'll see. Another few quick updates based on the last few episodes, and update on the Boob Duck mural. You may have been listening last week where I talked about how there is a duck mural in Kensington where I live. Lots of great things in Kensington. Chicken episode 2.0, the duck mural. It was graffitied with breasts. Someone graffitied breasts, that is boobs, all over the duck mural. Had some Kensington locals reach out to me when they saw it. Radio Georgia, welcome to the RF. I was born and raised in Kensington. I can vouch for the good-hearted locals. We just appreciate a good laugh, all for the titties. And I did do a poll. 94%, I think, of people said that the titties should stay forever. Radio De Bellatron. Welcome to the radio family. Don't know if you're a guy or a girl, but Radio De Bellatron said, I live here, so a fellow local Kensingtoner, I live here and I personally love the diversity I'm seeing in each set of Tatas. That is something that I think we could focus on, that, you know, every single pair of boobs that was painted on the ducks was really diverse. You know, you had big ones, small ones, you know, and we all know this. You know, we're all mature on this podcast. We've all seen them. Some of us have seen many. Some of us have seen some, right? They're all different. They're like snowflakes. They're all different. So the diversity was very much appreciated. We also have been doing movies that made you cry. And this led me into something that I kind of want to talk about. Radio Scotty. Welcome to the radio family. Scotty Doesn't Know is a good song, and your name reminded me of it. Just sort of 2 scenes that made me cry. Not from movies, but TV shows. Interesting variation. How I Met Your Mother. when Marshall is listening to his dad's last voice message, great episode, and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when Will gives his speech about his dad. Haven't seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I have seen How I Met Your Mother. In fact, I'm currently rewatching it, and I'm up to season 9, the final season. And I wanted to do this, and this is going to be a listener participation thing. What is the best sitcom? What is the best sitcom of all time? And this is going to be so controversial, I think. People are going to have so many different opinions, right? I want to know what the best sitcom is of all time, because if you're looking at me, if you're talking to me, I'll tell you what mine are, okay? You've got Seinfeld, easily in the top 3, right? Easily. One of the funniest of all time.
Elaine, now you're smart. Is it statue or statute of limitations?
Statute.
Oh, I really think you're wrong.
Hilarious show. Then you've also got How I Met Your Mother, top 3.
My dad took me to an old drive-in to see the original Star Wars.
You know, I've actually never seen Star Wars.
She's never seen Star Wars? Ted, the only people in the universe who haven't seen Star Wars are the characters in Star Wars, and that's because they lived them, Ted. That's because they lived the Star Wars.
And people are going to hate this so much. How I Met Your Mother, it's better than Friends. I said it. How I Met Your Mother is a better TV show than Friends in so many ways, right? And let's talk live action sitcoms. So we're not counting The Simpsons, otherwise that would be up there. We're not counting any animation, right? Sitcoms. So live action sitcoms. How I Met Your Mother, better than Friends. Friends, for me, not even in the top 5. And then for me, probably third, and this is where people are going to hate me, because for whatever reason, this TV show cops so much flack, even though it is one of the best of all time. All right? Number 3, best Seinfeld, How I Met Your Mother, Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm not joking. Everybody Loves Raymond is genuinely one of my favorite shows of all time. Everything about it. Ray as a character, hilarious. Robert, Ray's depressed older brother, hilarious. Frank, the grandpa, hilarious. Marie, the grandma, hilarious. It's also, I think it becomes funnier if you come from an Italian family. Would be interested in hearing people's thoughts on this. Because it's like Ray has an Italian family, the trope of like the imposing, overprotective grandma or mother figure, so relatable. Just putting it out there, so relatable. That show is, they say Seinfeld is the show about nothing. I think Seinfeld is the show about nothing for like single people in their 30s, whereas Everybody Loves Raymond is the show about nothing for family stuff. That's what I think.
For 8 years now, I've held my tongue and never told you how hurtful and destructive your behavior can sometimes be. I'm sure you don't even realize when you're being overbearing, critical, and intrusive. Is this a petition? Where do I sign?
Also in the list for me, like Friends is great. Always fun, always funny. Great show. Also up there for me, underrated I think, especially the first 2 or 3 seasons, which I've rewatched a bit of during lockdown. Modern Family. Oh God. I think that Cam from Modern Family, played by Eric Stonestreet, who is the really gay guy, he is one of the funniest TV characters of all time, up there with Mr. G from Summer Heights High. Cam from Modern Family, so great. I love the mockumentary format, and it is just, that show, Phil Dunphy, hilarious. Like, that's definitely up there for me.
Nobody likes a crying baby on a flight. It's very stressful.
Yeah, last year I flew back from New York next to a baby who was very upset the entire flight, and it was hell.
I was on that flight with you, and I don't recall. Oh, I get it. You're talking about me. It's very funny.
Yeah, we couldn't get tickets to Billy Elliot.
All he wanted to do was dance. And that's my story.
5 hours of this.
I just want to dance with the ballet.
Again, I'd love for you to write in. I'll pop it on Instagram. You can check out you can send me what you think is yours. Modern Family, definitely up there. What else is there? Friends, definitely up there. I mean, a lot of the old ones I've never seen. So I've never seen Cheers or Frasier or Happy Days, or any of those really old sitcoms. Haven't seen The Office, which most people are like, what? How have you not seen The Office? You'd love it. I have seen Parks and Recreation. That's okay. I'm really looking forward to the spin-off of How I Met Your Mother, which is How I Met Your Father, starring Hilary Duff in a completely new story. I'm really looking forward to that. They put out some screens of it this week and it looks really, really good. So I'm keen to see if they can kind of recapture the magic. But the reason I like How I Met Your Mother so much, and I think people see Friends like this as well, is it kind of blends your typical sitcom with not like soap opera elements, but like drama, like some serious drama. Like there is some amazing moments in How I Met Your Mother, and the framing device of Ted telling the story to his kids allows them to do so much creatively and have so much fun with it. But yeah, some serious moments like Radio Scotty has pointed out, the moment where like Marshall's dad dies, like that whole arc, and Ted being left at the altar, and like all the breakups and just the ups and downs of living life in your 20s, right? I think watching it now, because I first watched it as a teenager, watching it now as a 26-year-old and knowing that like Ted, the main character, and Marshall are 27 in the first season of that show, right? So like, it's so interesting to me that like I relate. I just think like, you know, I'm 26 and How I Met Your Mother, Ted's story doesn't start till he's 27. Like that whole show doesn't start till that character is 27 years old. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like life is really long. There's a lot of life to live. And I just like have been relating to it so much more, relating to all of the characters, their different wants, their different needs, like them worrying about the future a lot, because like I feel like when you're in, this is just going philosophical, but I feel like, and I think a lot of people who listen to this are a little bit younger than me, some people same age, some people older, interested to hear thoughts. I feel like when you're in your mid to late 20s, which I sort of am now, I guess, what starts to happen is everybody in your life, everybody the same age as you, is in a completely different spot in their life, right? Like some people when they're 27 are married, having their first kid. Some people are divorced. Some people have never had a girlfriend or boyfriend or kissed someone. Some people are coming out for the first time. And some people have been out their whole lives. Some people are working full-time jobs and making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Some people are working casual cafe jobs and chilling. Some people are wanting to travel the world and quit their job. Some people have 3 kids. You know, it really becomes apparent in your late 20s, because in your early 20s, like most people, at least in my circles, it was like most people had finished school and were going to uni and got an undergraduate degree. And then it started diversifying. And I'm noticing it more and more. And I think How I Met Your Mother shows that a lot. So does Friends. And then Seinfeld, I've always loved, I love Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David's take on the world and the monotonous. And what I love mainly about Seinfeld's show is that for whatever reason nowadays, and it's not a bad thing, but I feel like comedy in general, stand-up in particular, it always seems to have some underlying political message. It always seems to have to be something political, something making a stand about something, making jokes about a certain group of people that vote a certain way. Generally, it's progressive, making fun of conservative, which whatever. But I think what I love about Seinfeld, which is what I've realized, is like none of his comedy was ever really political. And I've read his book, Is This Anything?, which is just a compendium of all of his bits written down. It's almost never political. It's almost always just observations about everyday life. And I think that's what I love most about it. Like all the episodes are just stuff that happens. It's just like, you know, we're trapped in a parking garage. We can't find our car. Happens to me every time I go to a shopping center. Oh, we're waiting in line in a Chinese restaurant. It's not about, we've got to make a point about love. We've got to make a point about this political message. We've got to put down these people who don't think the same of us as us. We need to have this underlying message. It's just, no, like this is just what life is. These are all the things we make up and think. These are all the titles we give ourselves and the job names we get. Like, I don't know. I just think that's why I love Seinfeld so much. Okay, please send in your favorite sitcom of all time. That's what I want. All right, guys, that is pretty much the episode. So let's finish up with a little segment called This. The Plug. I do dance moves to all the openers in the video versions of the podcast. The Plug. This week, what do we got to plug? Obviously, radiomike.com.au/merch. Pick up your grilled shirt and your grilled tote bag, maybe even both, whatever you prefer. radiomike.com.au/merch. Patreon.com/radiomike. Oh, just getting a text message. Sorry, guys. What does it say? Cool. And okay. Patreon.com/radiomike. Little as $1 a month. Contribute there. If you want to PayPal, paypal.me/itsradiomike. If you'd just like to give a one-off donation to the show, that'd be awesome. Jump into the Discord. Lots of different channels where you can chat with other people who listen to the show about all kinds of topics like movies, games, music, TV shows. We recommend music. There's a playlist, a Radio Family playlist as well. Harry Potter and the Boys still on hiatus. I finally put out an update on that feed. Sorry about that if anyone was waiting for the next episode. It will be back. Mike Talks will be back as soon as lockdown ends. I'm really excited about the new direction for that. Mike Check over on YouTube. Mike Plays Games with Friends and just the YouTube in general. Radio Mike. Search it. I think that's more or less it. There is a playlist in the description of every podcast that is podcasts that I have been a guest on in the past. Would love for you to check that out as well and listen to me on some other podcasts. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Send in your favorite TV sitcoms. And I'm going to end the podcast by saying my name's been Radio Mike and this has been The Inside of My Mind. Will Kennedy, finish your farm project now. Goodbye. I will see you next week. I'm in love with you. Please say you feel the same way. Please, please, I love you so much. Why can't you feel the same way? Why can't... See you guys.